Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel, my loverlies. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I do so hope that you will like and subscribe before you leave. Become part of the mama family. You know, mama's got your back, at least where makeup's concerned. Anyway, today we're going to be doing a what brand does it best video. I am so excited for this. It gives me not only a chance to go through all of my makeup, which I love anyway, but it gives me a chance to like really assess what I use and what really just kind of like gets me going. And then I get to play with it all. And share it with you guys. So that's kind of fantastic. So that's what we're doing. I have seen this. I am not the originator of this tag. I actually saw this tag from Jessica Braun, and then also Mindy did it as well. Mandy did it. It's either Mindy or Mandy. Oh my goodness. I will put their channels in, not their links because I don't know how to do that, but I will put their channels in the description box below because they did. I got this idea from them. So that's what we're going to do. I already have my eye makeup done. I actually did something super new with my eye makeup today. Let me know in the comments below. What do we think? Do we like this? Do we love this? Would we wear this? And let me know if you guys want to see a video or a tutorial using this new technique. All I really did was take some tape and kind of cut out little shapes. And then I just kind of stuck them to my eye and did my eye makeup over top of it. And I love the way that it turned out. I really went for more of a vibe today and not so much like a look. I wanted to kind of go like fierce because I have these nails. I did my nails. They're super long. I call them my banana talons. They are yellow and blingy, and I did these myself. And I'm really actually kind of proud of them. I love the way they make me feel. I love the way that they look. My husband actually went out of his way to tell me how pretty they were. So I'm really loving it. And so I really kind of just wanted to match my vibe. I was feeling fierce, so I went with a fierce eye look. I used the Be Perfect Manifest Dream Big palette to create today's look. One of my subscribers sent this palette to me. You know who you are. You're fantastic. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I get so much joy out of this palette. You will never know. I love this palette. I love Be Perfect cosmetics just in general. I feel like, guys, you know, I don't really condone those giant price tags that brands try to like get from us. I really feel like it's super insane and really unnecessary most of the time. And a lot of the times the quality of the product doesn't match the price tag. When it comes to Be Perfect, I really think that they are worth every single penny. Unfortunately, it's not something that I can afford right now in my life, but I will honestly cherish this palette and all of the other ones that are sent to me. It's just so good. If you guys have the money to go pick up one of the Be Perfect palettes and one of them just so happens to catch your eye, I can honestly say that they blend like butter. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. It is one of my absolute favorite eyeshadow formulas to work with, and they're just chef's kiss. So amazing. So I went in for more of, just like I said, a vibe. So I went with warm browns and golds and bronzes and just went really kind of like grungy, but like jungle grunge kind of with it, and I am just so in love with it. So I started off with this black, and then I went in with this really beautiful kind of like magenta color, and just kind of went around the edges of the black and just kind of blended that out. I then went in with this really beautiful army khaki green color, and to blend that out, I went in with this stunning mustard. And though you wouldn't necessarily think those colors would work so well together, they really do blend together, and they just give you that overall effect that I think is so interesting and so special. I have a little bit of this golden shade just on my inner corners. We're going to have to probably fix that in just a minute, just because we're going to do our makeup and it's going to go away. It always does. It's kind of inevitable. We will deal with it though. And let's go ahead and jump right into the actual video now that my intro has taken a good long 5 minutes. So there, of course, is a category for each step of the face. First one being primer. Now, there were a couple of different brands that could have taken the win for this one. Just because I really enjoy the Wet n Wild primers. I love their Prime Focus primers. I actually have 3 of them. I have the hydrating one, the pore refining one, and then also the glow one, I think. Yeah, the brightening one. Guys, these are absolutely fantastic. No matter what formula you prefer, I wouldn't say that they actually really do anything that I can notice on the skin, but they feel so beautifully hydrating. They're nice and cooling to the skin. I do find that the pore tightening one, the purple one, really does tighten my face just a little bit. Gives my face just that little bit more of like a snatched feeling, but that's about it. And then, of course, you've got e.l.f., which makes the Poreless Putty Primer, which is fantastic. e.l.f. makes a lot of really, really nice primers, but I feel like a lot of e.l.f.'s primers are very much silicone-based and not very hydrating, so again, I just kind of had to go away from that one. The brand I ended up landing on was NYX. Now, NYX, I won just because there are so many of their primers that I use regularly. I pulled a couple of examples, but there are so many more. The first of which is the NYX Bright Maker. Can I speak? I'm gonna try. The NYX Bright Maker. Now, this is a fantastic primer. It feels very moisturizing on the skin. It's got a very light kind of papaya tropical scent to it. So it's kind of like a little pick-me-up, really, because I do enjoy the smell. It's very fresh, it's very light, but it's very enjoyable. And then it's also got very small little reflex in it, golden, pinky golden reflex to it that really just kind of bring out the skin in such a beautiful way and give you that lit from within glow without any discernible particles of shimmer on your face. It's really beautiful for that. The next one we have is the Honeydew Me Up Primer. I love everything about this. I love the packaging. It feels luxe. It's heavy. It feels like if I threw this at somebody, it would hurt. And it's just really nice. I think the applicator is really cool. It's got like this paddle attachment that you really just kind of spackle your face. You just kind of spread it on. And it's beautifully, it's kind of feels tightening a little bit. It definitely leaves a tackiness to your skin, which lends itself to better, makeup wear, because it really kind of is going to hold that makeup to your face, so I like it for that. It's just really nice. Again, it's got a really nice light fresh scent to it that I enjoy. The next one is the NYX Plump Right Back. Guys, this is fantastic. I feel like this genuinely plumps up my skin. It feels hydrating. Again, it leaves a little bit of that tackiness to your face because it feels like a serum, so it just leaves that little bit of stick to you. This has got electrolytes. It's just really good. I enjoy the way this smells as well. Ooh, it matches my nails. Let's put a little bit of this on, shall we? Let's put a little bit of my hair back. And I'll just do like one pump. It's not like super sticky when it comes out of the pump. You can tell that it has just the tiniest bit of, like, I want to say silicone. Does it have silicone in it? Let's see. Where's the dimethicone? Is there no? There's a lot of really good ingredients in here, guys, but I am not seeing any dimethicone. So this might not have any silicone in it, but it does a really great job of blurring your pores. Like, I just put that on and it instantly blurs everything out. It leaves a little bit of a tack on the skin. This is fantastic. Now that I think there's no silicone in here, it makes me love it that much more because it does all of that. It like blurs so beautifully without any dimethicone. It's kind of insane. Of course, I might be looking at it and it's just got a different name, but I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any dimethicone in there or any kind of silicone. So that's really cool. And then also, this is the NYX Pore Filler. Guys, this is fantastic. This is fantastic for pore filling primer. I use this quite often. It is not my favorite pore filling. Okay. This works the best. This is the best pore filling primer I have come across. It really fills in the pores. I just find it to be a little overly mattifying, and it comes out weird. It's just like really fluffy, and it feels like pure, like silicone, pure dimethicone. It is incredibly blurring. It goes into the pores and really fills everything and smooths everything out. Super blurring. I just feel like I just feel like it just can't be good for the skin, but it is nonetheless a fantastic, fantastic pore filling primer. And I do use this very, very regularly. The next step is going to be foundation. Now, guys, there are a ton, an absolute ton of really, really great foundations at the drugstore. And this one was really, really hard to pick because of that. I know Milani makes a really great foundation. I wouldn't say I really go to them for foundation, but they do make a really nice one. The 2-in-1 is fantastic. Then you've got Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild makes the Photo Focus foundations, which are fantastic. I like both the liquid and the stick forms. I own both. I use the stick foundation all the time. I usually find stick foundation to be way, way, way too drying for me. Usually makes me look cakey and gross, but for some reason, the Wet n Wild stick foundation just looks fantastic on my skin. Just absolutely immaculate. It is great every single time. So yes, I really love the Wet n Wild foundations. And then of course you've got Revlon, which makes a couple of great foundation as well. You've got the Maybelline with the Fit Me line. But the one that I ended up settling on as my absolute favorite was L'Oreal. And the reason I say this is because I went through my foundations and I was really looking at what my absolute favorite foundations are and which ones I wear the most. And for some reason, I'm not sure why, but this is the one that really just kind of popped out to me the most. So this is the L'Oreal Age Perfect 4-in-1 Tinted Balm. Guys, I use this all the time. It doesn't look drying on my skin. It doesn't feel heavy. It's so light. It feels like there's absolutely nothing on my face. I find that the coverage is super easy to build with this as well. I like the color. It's super easy to put on. I'll just kind of take a foundation brush and just kind of stab it into the pot and, you know, smear it all over my face and we're good to go. I've never had any problems with patching or streaking. I have found that it wears for a really nice time on me as well. It's just a really fantastic foundation. I do think it's a little overpriced at $11 for less than half an ounce of product. A little over half an ounce of product. I do think it's a little expensive, but it's not the most expensive, price tag for foundation at the drugstore. So it's doable, and it's just a really, really beautiful foundation. The next one is this is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation. It's fantastic. Most of these two can be built up to really, really beautiful, solid medium coverage. I would say that this one is just, it wears beautifully. This is this is in the shade Golden Ivory. It's so good. It's got sunscreen in it. It's a really, really great summer foundation. Super light on the skin. The color is just really good. It comes with this kind of like dropper style applicator. I find that this doesn't transfer or move around too much on my skin either. It's really beautiful. It doesn't accentuate any of my lines or any of my texture. It's really, really pretty. It's also self-setting, so I don't have to set it with powder, which is really nice, especially in the summer when I want to look nice and dewy. So it's fantastic. I love this one. And then the last of which being the L'Oreal Paris True Match Nude. Guys, this was such a big deal when it came out. I still think it's a big deal. It's a really fantastic, fantastic foundation. It's got 1% hyaluronic acid. I use mine in the shade light to medium. It's just a little bit dark for me, but the coverage is so sheer that it doesn't really matter. And it just does something so special to the skin. Again, this is another one of those that dries down by itself, so I don't have to powder it. And I just really love what it does to the skin. It looks almost like a mineral. The finish is very much like a mineral powder foundation, but it doesn't move. It is the weirdest thing, but so good. You do have to make sure you give it a nice shake before you use it, because if it sits too long, it can like get a little separaty. And it's just so cool. I will say that the applicator is a little bit messy. I do wish it was a pump. I feel like the dropper, because it's a serum foundation, I understand why they put the dropper in there. I just feel like the dropper situation is a little bit messy. When you go to put this back into the tube, it just kind of goes everywhere. It's not my absolute favorite. Now, with application of this, I feel like you can use whatever method you enjoy the most. I have used both a brush and a beauty blender, and they both work equally well. I'm going to use a beauty blender today, just because it's what I have sitting next to me. But what this does to the skin is so special. It is super light coverage. I did put quite a bit of it on. But it just blends out to nothing, that even though you put all of that product on your skin, it dries down and settles onto your face in such a way that you look like you literally just look like you just have a light dusting of powder. It gives my skin just a little tint of color. It hides just enough of my redness to even out my skin tone without making me look or feel like I'm overdone. It is absolutely just so good. I love this foundation. I have used it so many times since it's come out. It is in my regular rotation. I would say that I wear this. I have so many foundations, guys, and I would say that I honestly wear this at least once a week. I find that it wears beautifully as well. It's just a fantastic foundation. I really don't have anything negative to say about it at all. Really, really good. And like I said, the finish on it is just truly spectacular. My skin still looks like skin, but the redness around my nose is completely covered. It hasn't emphasized any of the texture on my skin. It hasn't emphasized any of my pores. The color looks really, really nice. I'm just in love with it. It's a fantastic foundation. So the next category is, what's the next category, babe girl? We are going into let's do bronzer. Let's do contour next, y'all. We always do contour first. So I have a couple of different options for contour. Guys, e.l.f. one. Absolutely love the hard candy contour stick. It's fantastic. I also really, really love the Sheen. This is the liquid. It is the Sun Sculpt Liquid Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Soft Tan. This is a beautifully gray, kind of like contoury, perfect contour color for me. But this is not as accessible. It is not at the drugstore. It is from an online retailer, and I didn't really think it counted. I wanted to, recommend things to you that you could just go to your local Walmart or Walgreens to get. So it wasn't eligible for this video. So I got to thinking about it, and I came up with e.l.f. because they just really do have the best options at the drugstore and the most versatile options. So what I picked from e.l.f. was the contour palette. This has 4 different shades in it, which I think is really convenient. So you have a super light shade. You have this shade, which I have hit pan on because I actually really, really like it. But the more I kind of learn about doing makeup and the older I get, I find that it really kind of accentuates lines. It's just odd. It's just an odd powder. But you have a really beautiful, very finely milled kind of brightening powder. You have a bronzer, and then you have a contour shade. And it is perfect. I have this in the shade medium, light to medium, I believe. What shade are you? Light to medium, and it just is perfect for my skin tone. They also have a cream version of it, which is fantastic. I think we might use the cream version and then set with the powder, but this is the cream version. Super fantastic. Again, you've got a brightener. You've got 2 beautifully, I use these for contour because they're kind of perfect, and then you've got a slightly darker one if that's what you need. But I find that these 2 shades are absolutely perfect. I'm gonna go in with this one first. And I'm going to take that on another e.l.f. brush. So this is the e.l.f. Buffing Foundation brush. There are 2 different e.l.f. brushes that I use for my foundation and my contour. So for powder contour, or like creamier contours, I usually go in with the Buffing Foundation brush. So this one is a little bit taller and not quite as dense. I get a little bit more movement from this brush from this brush than I do this one. So this is the Ultimate Blending Brush. Now, they're both domed, but this one looks more like it's flatter. It's more kabuki style. It's still domed, but it's more kabuki style. And then it's got this really, really dense kind of, oh, it's just perfect. It's just perfect for placing and blending. I'm going to go in with this color right here. And I'm just going to dip my brush into there. And I'm going to start tapping this into place. All around my hairline. And it's so pigmented. It is, guys, it's so insanely easy to use. It feels a lot like their putty blushes and the putty bronzer. It's got the same blendability as that, but it's creamier. It is so, so good. These palettes, and they're only $8, and you get 4 different colors. It is a fantastic, fantastic value. You get a ton of product in one of these little pans because they're so pigmented. A little bit goes such a long way. So I've had both of these palettes for, I want to say, over a year now. And like, I have only hit pan on one shade, and I use them constantly. So I really, really think they're an absolutely fantastic, fantastic value. I really love the tones in these palettes as well. I will say I enjoy the tones in the cream palette just a little bit more than the ones in the powder palette. I feel like the tones in the powder palette are just a little bit warmer than the ones in the cream one. And I feel like I can get more of like a contoured effect with the creams. But on days when I'm just kind of want low-key, just real wham bam, thank you ma'am, super, super quick, one palette, all I got to do is just kind of open it up and do my thing. I really love the e.l.f. powder palette. It's fantastic as well. Please do not let me dissuade you. If you would rather have a powder palette than a cream one, the powder palette is fantastic as well. You're not going to go wrong with either one of them. And it just goes on so, so easily. It looks so beautifully natural. It just does. It's just one of those products that works. It just does exactly what it's supposed to do without too much finesse and too much finagling. Just kind of pat it on and you're good to go. I feel beautifully sculpted but blended at the same time. I feel like my face has a little bit more oomph to it and a little bit more shape, but we're still good to go. And would you believe it if I told you that I forgot to pick a concealer category? For me, concealer is one of those things that is just way, way, way too easy to overlook. I am forever forgetting to do my concealer. I feel like bronzing and all of that stuff is so, so important. And I just don't know why I cannot remind myself that I need to conceal as well. I must think I'm 20 years younger than I actually am and don't need it. So let's talk about concealers real quick. So there are a couple of different brands that really make the best concealers. So you've got, well, not the best concealers, but really fantastic concealers. So you've got L'Oreal. They make the, is this L'Oreal? No, you've got CoverGirl. So CoverGirl makes the True Blend, which is a great dupe for Shape Tape. Not quite as pigmented, but still really, really beautiful. Nice full coverage. Not quite as full as Shape Tape, but nice. And then you've also got e.l.f., which makes the Camel Concealers. These are fantastic. Again, have been compared to the Tarte Shape Tape. I would say out of these 2 full coverage concealers, I kind of prefer the CoverGirl. The reason I prefer the CoverGirl is I find it not to be quite as drawing. So we're going to use the CoverGirl one. So for me, CoverGirl takes the concealers just because they make my favorite one. Wet n Wild makes the Incognito Concealer, which is absolutely fantastic. I love that one as well. NYX doesn't really make any concealers that I'm super in love with. Yeah, so we're gonna go with CoverGirl today. I'm gonna use the True Blend Concealer in the shade Porcelain. And I'm just going to tap a little bit under each eye. And then we'll blend that out with my Beauty Blender. just to kind of brighten things up. I also like to bring this down the side of my nose to help contour just a little bit, and then I also bring that around my upper lip. I'm going to blend that in, and then when I get to the outer corner, I'm going to take that up and kind of through my temple just a little bit. It's going to help to give my face a lifted appearance. This concealer really does blend in super, super easily. It works well with other products. There are some concealers I find that really don't work well with others. I think the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, though I think it's a really fantastic concealer, I don't think that it works super well with other products that dry down on themselves. I find that when I try to use it with, say I were to use it with this foundation, I find that it doesn't fully melt in to the other product. There's always that very, very faint line of demarcation where you can tell that the concealer ends and the foundation begins. And that's not really my favorite. But I have found that this concealer really does work well with so many different foundations. So it's very, very versatile in that regard. So it's a really, really, really nice concealer. I know that I said that a million times, but it is. It's quite fantastic. I really enjoy the Incognito one as well, but it is not quite as full coverage as this one is. And especially when you're wanting to go for more of like that full glam effect, I find that a full coverage concealer really is the way to go. And especially at the drugstore, like true full coverage concealers are few and far between. They're getting a little bit more common now, but they used to be super, super hard to find at the drugstore. And even this one, it's pretty much the best one. It's pretty much the best one at the drugstore. Just look at that. It blends out so, so easily. It's so super brightening. Look at my hair, y'all. It's sticking up at odd angles. It's just looking all crazy. It literally took me, oh my goodness, I'm going to say it literally took me like 2 hours to straighten my hair. If y'all understood how insanely curly my natural hair is and how just like stupidly thick it is, you would understand my pain, because it is pain. It's absolutely insane how long it takes me to straighten it. And then I can never quite get like right up here at like my edges, like in my baby hairs, I can never get them to lay quite as flat as I want them to. So if you guys have a trick for that, please let me know. I don't always like straighten my hair just because I'm scared it's going to mess with my natural curl. But I would like to know if there was a way to maybe do it a little bit better than I'm doing it now. I also try not to put like too much oil or anything in my hair just because I don't want to weigh it down. And my hair tends to get like, it tends to get oily pretty quickly. I can't, you know, it's not like I can't have like super, super dry skin and then an oily scalp. I didn't know that was possible, but I believe it is. And I suffer with it. I've got the worst of both worlds. So I just kind of contoured my nose just a little bit with the e.l.f. Cream Contour. And I feel like my face looks really nice and like shaped. I'm happy with that. I'm going to put a little bit more of the concealer just right in the center of my forehead. Not a ton. I don't like, a little bit of this goes a long way. You don't have to like pile it on. It really does what it's supposed to do. I'm just going to put that right in the center of my forehead. I like to take it a little bit over each of my brows as well.
Hey, Mama.
What, Bubba?
Can you make me some chocolate milk?
I will in just a second. Mom duties. Okay, so there is our contour out of the way. For bronzer, what did I pick for bronzer? Oh, guys, we already knew. We already know what's coming. You guys have heard everybody and their mama knows about these bronzers. Everybody and their mama has used them at one point in the game or another. What I'm talking about is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzers. I have mine in the shade Light. I think they have like a ton of different shades of it now. They came out with the Butter Buddies, and I haven't gotten my hands on any of the new shades yet, but hopefully I will in the near future. For right now, all I have is the original, and I'm okay with that. It has that just, it's so good. It's coconut, it's lime, it's amazingness. It's a vacation. It's a vacation, and it just, every single time. I know that there are some people who cannot stand the smell of this bronzer, and I just don't understand those people. Nothing against you. We can be sisters. We can be friends. No judgment. But how can you not like that smell? Because it is just absolutely fantastic. I also have this one. This is the Physicians Formula Miro Butter Bronzer Palette. I picked this up not too long ago. It's got 3 different shades of the bronzer in it. So you've got the light one, you've got the regular, and then you've got a deeper one. I'm going to go in with the light one first, and then if I have to use the darker one, then I will. I'm going to go in with this. It's kind of like a very, very fluffy angled brush. I really like to use this for bronzer. And I'm just going to kind of swirl this all around the perimeter of my face. It's going to help to soften that contour just a little bit, but it's also going to bring much needed color to my face and help me to look just a little bit more alive and a little bit more awake, and just give me that overall sun-kissed, just got back from vacation type of vibe. That is always so perfect for the summertime. Just like that. Really, really beautiful. I'm going to take some down my neck as well. This is beautifully pigmented, but it's not overly pigmented to where you can't work with it. It's nicely buildable. It moves well. It's like got a nice movement on the skin. So I don't ever have any problems with patching or anything like that with this concealer, or not this concealer, but with this bronzer. So nice. And I love the color. It's so perfect. Really, really beautiful. I love the light one. The dark one I think is just a little bit too dark for me for the most part. But the light one is absolutely perfect. They just go on so easily. The next category we have is blush. Now, blush was super easy. I knew exactly where I was going to go with the blush before I even was asked the question. So for blush today, Milani one. Milani makes a couple of absolutely fantastic, absolutely, just bomb blushes. And I actually have quite a few different formulas from them. So I have do I have one of the baked bronzers? I do. So they make a baked bronzer, which is just, it's so pretty. This is in the shade Luminoso. This is the one that everybody and their mama has been talking about for forever. So beautiful. It's like a peachy, corally, just, it's kind of got like that gold kind of shimmer to it. Not really, it's not sparkly. It's just got that little bit of satin shine and a sheen to it that just gives you, oh, it's so pretty. It's so youthful looking. It's an absolutely stunning blush. Then you've got these are the Tea Rose. These are the Rose Powder Blushes. This is in the shade 05 Coral Cove. It's another absolutely fantastic one. I use this all the freaking time. First of all, the packaging is stunning. You've got this gold compact. It feels nice and heavy. It's a nice thick plastic. And then you open it up, and then you've got the most beautifully pressed, stunning blush. The powder itself is it's super thin. It feels almost silky on the fingers. You've got really great pigment payoff. Super stunning blush. They've also got a cream formula that is really great. I guess it's not cream. This is the liquid. They do have a cream formula. But this is the liquid packaging. This is the Milani Cheek Kiss. This is in the shade 160 Berry Smooch. I know that I just did a liquid blush video, and this was in there. Guys, it's a really great blush. I do think that it could be just a little bit more pigmented, but it is so, so beautiful. Really easy to work with, goes on, it never patches, it never disturbs the makeup underneath. It's a really, really, really great formula. And then we have the cream formula. Now this is the Cheek Kiss Sunkist Glow Cream Blush Palette. This is a beautiful, beautiful collection of just... You've got a mauve tone, you've got like a pinky corally tone, and then you've got something that's a little bit deeper, a little bit more rusty, a little bit more neutral. I want to say it's more of like a bricky neutral. All three of these I can wear. All three of them are beautiful, and again, super, super easy to work with. And then we've got the Cheek Kiss powder formula. This is in the shade Golden Hour Glow. Are they both Golden Hour Glow? This was Sunkist Glow, and this is Golden Hour Glow. And these are super, super beautiful as well. This pink one is stunning. This one is more of like a, kind of like a deep, kind of rusty brown color. A little bit deep for me, so I don't really wear this one. But this one is the star of the show in this palette. Pink one that's super, super beautiful. But this peachy neutral color just kind of, it goes with absolutely everything. And that's what we're going to wear today. This formula is super, super pigmented, so guys, beware. I like to go in with a pretty dense brush. This is my e.l.f. Angled Blush Brush. It's from the Rose Gold collection. And it's a pretty dense brush. And these are a pretty soft packed powder. So when you dip your brush in here, you get quite a bit of powder on the brush. So there's no need to like rub or even dip twice. One dip is going to be pretty much all you need. I'm just going to start packing it on up here towards my temple. And then using stippling motions, I'm going to bring my powder closer towards my nose. I want to keep, like, imagine there's an invisible line right here, just kind of where the blue of my eye starts. And I'm going to keep most of my color on the inner edge, on the inside or the outside of that line. I guess it's the inside of my face. So on the outside of that line. And that is going to help to thin my face a little bit, and it's also going to help to lift my face a little bit. I have quite a broad face, especially through here, and I've got quite a prominent brow as well. So whenever I can lift and kind of thin this part of my face, I really try to the best of my ability to get that done, just because it does help with the overall shape, and it kind of creates the illusion that my face isn't quite so long or quite so round. So I'm going to keep, again, most of my pigment up here towards my temple, and then just gently fade it in towards the inside of my face. Now, I like to bring the color up far enough so when I'm looking straight at you, you can still see a little bit of that color just right here on the side of my cheek. So I know that I've brought that in far enough because I can see just that little hint of peachy beautifulness. I'm going to do the same thing on the other cheek. I'm kind of placing my blush where I would place my highlight, and we do that for a very real reason. Again, your face is going to want, just like your face and the eye wants to follow the light, it wants to follow the color as well. So we're kind of essentially telling the eye where to look by placing our color like this. And I just love the color. It's so pretty. It's so easy to work with. Milani is honestly one of my absolute favorite brands at the drugstore. Right now, they make so many absolutely fantastic products. It feels like they really know what they're doing. And they're giving us, the consumer, products that we actually want to use. The Milani brushes, I think Milani is a little bit expensive, and some of their products I think are a little bit overpriced, but they give you high-end at the drugstore. Milani really, they focus on the packaging, they focus on presentation, they focus on color. I just think that the whole brand is so well thought out that I don't really mind paying the extra couple of dollars for something that's just gonna really perform. With Milani, I feel like you get what you pay for. So there's my blush. I put a little bit on the tip of my nose. I put just a touch on my chin and my forehead, just everywhere where I would blush naturally. And we're done. I feel like my face looks absolutely beautiful. All of these products are working so well together. There is definitely a reason they are my favorites. So the next category is going to be powder. So like setting powders. And most of the things that I use today are self-setting. So I don't feel like I need to use a ton of powder. I'm definitely not going to set my whole face. So I'll go ahead and go over a couple of powders with you. So the one that I feel like won this category through and through is Maybelline. And the reason being is Maybelline makes absolutely fantastic powders. So my favorite under eye setting powder right now is the Maybelline Lasting Fix Banana Powder. It's fantastic. It's nicely brightening, but I also find that it doesn't dry my skin out, and that is the hardest. It's the biggest battle that I fight, especially when it comes to setting my under eyes. Just because I have such dry skin, it takes nothing. It takes nothing for them to look super dry and cakey and crepey, and a lot of powders just they just emphasize that. They don't hide or help that in any way. But I do find that this powder is so pretty. It's super finely milled, so it, it goes a long way. It really smooths everything out. It's nicely brightening. I use it on this e.l.f. highlighting brush. It's just a tapered brush, and I really just get a little bit on my brush, and then I swirl it around in the empty cap and really distribute that powder all throughout the brush. So I'm not having just one place where there's a ton of powder, so I can really kind of control the application a little bit better. And what I'll do is I'll just tap this under my eye, one side, and then I'll flip the brush over and tap the other side of my eye, just to make sure that each eye gets the same amount of powder. Not too much, not too little. And then with whatever's left on my brush, I will set everywhere else that I just put a little bit of that concealer. And then when I'm done doing that, I go back in and I just kind of dust it around, make sure that everything is nice and distributed. Dust off any extra that might be there. And we're good to go. It doesn't emphasize any of the lines or any of the dryness under my eye, which I really like. I also find that powder's so tricky. Powder can make you look so old. It can make you look so old. It is just one of those things. As much as it helps, it hinders, and it's a real fine line between a really great powder and a really bad one. And this one I really enjoy. The next one I want to talk to you guys about is a powder that I would use to set my entire face. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. Again, everybody and their mom has heard about this powder, and that's because it just really is. It's fantastic. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's super finely milled. It just goes on. It adds just a tiny touch of coverage, but it doesn't darken up your makeup. It doesn't leave a cast on your skin. It's really fantastic. And again, it's not super drying. It doesn't turn your makeup all cakey and crusty. It's really nice. But the honorable mention for this category is going to have to be the Hard Candy Chilling Wonder Powder. This is fantastic. This is one of those powders that is so rare for me because it's hydrating. It really does feel nice and cooling and refreshing on your face. It has never made me look dry or cakey. It is another one of those powders that I can actually use under my eye and all over my face. It is absolutely fantastic. I am being very stingy with this powder right now because I have not seen it at my Walmart the last couple of times I've gone, and until I can get a backup of this, I probably won't be touching it just because I'm terrified to not have it. It really is a fantastic powder. The next category we have is eyeshadow. Now, I've already done my eyeshadow today just because I wanted to be creative and I wanted to do something just a little bit different. And I really wanted to use my Be Perfect. But there were a couple of different brands that were like neck and neck for this category. Those being Milani and Wet n Wild. So I actually ended up choosing Wet n Wild. And the reason I didn't choose Milani is because they're just so expensive. When you're, value to value, the Milani eyeshadow palettes are $20 a piece. And that's super expensive, especially for a drugstore eyeshadow. I know that the packaging is really nice, and I'm not going to gripe about that price because I think that the quality of the eyeshadow is fantastic. Plus you get, you have the accessibility factor because it's just at Walmart, and then you've got the packaging, which is really cute. Again, they bring Lux to the drugstore. But I did end up having to choose not Hard Candy, but Wet n Wild, just because, guys, they're so affordable. So you can get these 10-pan palettes for, I think they're less than $5, and they're fantastic. It's super pigmented. They've got all different kinds of colorways. This one is from the Fantasy Makers. This is from Halloween of last year. This is the Pick Your Poison palette. I've also got the Hello Queen palette. This one's a really beautiful blue and purple palette. I've also got, these are some of the staples. This one is the, which one are you? You are Call Me Sunshine. So pretty. And then you've also got Lights Off, which is just a really beautiful, super glam. This is so glam to me. Like neutral and greens and just so beautiful. I think this is such a classy, elegant, like smoky eye palette. So beautiful. And then this one is just all day, everyday girl next door, bronze goddess, queen kind of palette. There's so much variety, and they're so pigmented. They work so well. Definitely, it was almost a no-brainer, just because I love Wet n Wild. I really do. I love all of their products. They're so yummy. The next category is going to be eyeliner. Now, again, Milani won for this one, and that is for no other fact than because they make my absolute favorite eyeliner of all time. So this is the Milani Stay Put Liner. I have the Stay Put Liner, and then I also have the Supreme Kohl Kajal. This one is, you want to talk about the inkiest, blackest, creamiest retractable liner you've ever used in your life. This one is absolutely a showstopper. You put this on your waterline, it never balls up on me. Like a lot of times, I'll get like in the corners of my eyes, just big goopy balls of eyeliner or whatever it is that's in my eye, and it's gross and it's not cute. And because I'm, you know, what is that word? Because I'm paranoid about it, I'm forever checking, you know, the corners of my eyes, and it's just a pain in the hiney. But with this one, it just doesn't move, guys. I also have the Milani Stay Put Liner. I actually, it's my first love. I really love the creamy Kohl Kajal one, but this one is truly my baby. This is the Stay Put Liner. I have this shade in Semi Sweet, which is a brown one, because unfortunately I ran out of my black one. But even the brown one is really beautiful and deep and dark. And again, they just don't move. They sit down and they stay exactly where you put them. They're absolutely fantastic. A little bit pricey, but worth every penny. The next category is going to be mascara. And again, guys, Maybelline was a no-brainer for this one. Maybelline, especially in the last year, has made so many absolutely fantastic formulas. The Sky High, you've got the Temptation, you've got Falsies, you've got Colossal, you've got, there are so many, like innumerable amounts of just different formulas and different beautiful, like brightly colored tubes. They're all fantastic. My favorite of the moment is definitely the Sky High, and then this one. This is the Total Temptation. This is in the waterproof variety. First of all, let's talk about the packaging. It is smooth, like smooth to the touch, matte touch plastic. It feels really nice. It feels expensive. Just the color of it just brings me joy. It's a really fantastic formula as well. You've got really nice long bristles, so you can really get in there and separate each individual lash. It coats everything really nicely. Again, this is one of those formulas that it's great when you first open it, but it gets even better with time. As it kind of starts to dry up just a little bit, you get even more volume and even more length, and it's just so yummy. Good to the last drop, and absolutely worth every penny that you're going to pay for it. The next category we have is going to be lipstick. Now, guys, lipstick is one of those things that I'm not super picky about a lipstick. As long as it looks good, and as long as it doesn't make me look super old or anything like that, I'm pretty much down. I'm not one of those women who is bothered by reapplying my lipstick. I actually enjoy the process of applying my lipstick and my lip liner. So longevity isn't really a big deal for me either, for the most part. But I did kind of two brands kind of stole the show for me, especially when it comes to liquid lipsticks. So if you guys have been on my channel for any real amount of time, you'll have heard me talk about the L'Oreal lipsticks. So there's two different formulas. You've got matte and you've got like glossy. Guys, these are so good. They stay put. They don't go anywhere. They leave your lips feeling beautifully hydrated, but with this just absolutely stunning amount of pigment. They come in so many really gorgeous neutral nude shades, but then they've also got like bright pops of color with this pink one. So pretty. I love this orange one as well. Gorgeous. It's more of like a corally color. So pretty. I'm going to go with a nude today. I'm going to go with the shade 418. This is just like a really light. kind of peachy tone. I love the doe foot. They're super tiny and triangular, but they'll also at a slight angle, so it just kind of hugs the curve of the lip. And then the applicator is nicely flexible, so it really just does exactly what you want it to do. And then they dry down almost immediately. Guys, I mean, it's a perfect lipstick. And not only that, but once they dry down, they are there. They're not going anywhere. They're just so good. They're not uncomfortable to wear either. They're so fantastic. So there is the one brand. And then the other brand is, of course, Maybelline. Now, Maybelline makes these and the Super Stay Matte Ink, and they're so good. This one is in the shade Driver, 55 Driver. I wear this one literally all the time. It's a very similar shade to the one I'm wearing today. But the thing about these ones is they are even more opaque. They are like full-blown, like melted lipstick. They go on your lips. They don't go anywhere. The only reason these ones did not win, the Maybelline ones didn't win, is because I feel like the formula is not as it's not as comfortable. They're thicker on the lips. I feel like I experience more drying and more cracking with them. And overall, they just don't last on me quite as long as the L'Oreal ones do. But again, there's pluses and minuses because this one is definitely the thicker, more opaque version. And this formula is... it's beautiful. It really is a beautiful formula. Just for me and my super dry skin, I prefer the L'Oreal liquid lipsticks. They're just a little bit more comfortable. They feel more moisturizing to me. If you're wanting to talk about bullet lipsticks, then Milani has got it all day long. Milani has these color fetish lipsticks. They have them both in matte and satin, or like shimmery, not shimmery, but they have matte and not matte formulas. I really enjoy both. This is the matte one. This is in the shade Tease. It's my absolute favorite nude right now. The packaging is stunning. They feel expensive. The color is just, they smell like cake batter. They're absolutely fantastic bullet lipsticks. And they do wear for a really nice amount of time. But again, you do have to reapply them because they're not meant to stay on forever. But they're really fantastic. The reason these didn't win is because they are just a little bit pricey. Everything's just a little bit pricey, but there's that. And then the next one, of course, being gloss, and Wet n Wild won this all day long. You know, lip gloss is one of those things that I feel like is super easy to get either terribly wrong or terribly right. And some of those companies that have absolutely fantastic you know, lip glosses, but you know, they're just kind of expensive. But then you have Wet n Wild, and my baby here, my Wet n Wild, they just are so unpretentious, guys. They're so affordable, but then they give you the best quality. This is from the Blooming collection, and it is like a shimmering, almost like, I wouldn't say glittery, but kind of like, this lip gloss is just my absolute favorite right now. I just like to put just a touch of it right in the center of the lip. And because of the shimmer in here, it just makes it look so glossy and so reflective. And then it's like plumping as well. So it really feels like it like tightens and plumps up my lips in just the most beautiful way. I find it to be really long wearing. It's got just enough of a stick to it that it stays on your lips, but it's not so sticky that it's uncomfortable. It's not thick or goopy. It's not stringy in any way. Guys, it's just Wet n Wild makes the absolute best glosses. I love them so much. Then you've also got, like, I feel like you've got the Wet n Wild Cloud Pout lip glosses that are really cool too. Just a lot of really cool stuff from Wet n Wild, and their lip products are always on point. And then, of course, we have the last category, and that is, well, not the last one, but the second to last, and that's going to be lip liner, and NYX won this all day long. NYX makes my absolute favorite lip liners. You guys know I love the Suede lip liners. I use this one in the shade Cold Brew continuously. Absolutely fantastic. It's what I'm wearing today. And then last but not least, we have setting spray, and Milani won setting spray as well. So Milani has the Make It Dewy setting spray, which I think is fantastic. They also have the just the regular Make It Last, which is fantastic. It's for normal skin. And then they've got the Make It Last matte one. excuse me, they have the dewy, the original, and the matte. All three of them work phenomenally. I don't have either one of them in my possession at the moment, unfortunately, so I'm going to use my NYX Bear With Me. This one's also a really fantastic setting spray. I just feel like for a setting spray that actually does something, this one I feel like is more of like a refreshing mist and really just kind of helps to melt the powder in, but it doesn't really help the longevity of your makeup, whereas the Milani ones definitely do. They definitely, like, I have noticed a significant difference from when I wear them and when I don't. They really do hold the product onto your face and really make it last for the longest amount of time possible. I'm going to use a little bit of this NYX one. Just kind of mist it onto my face just to melt in that little bit of powder that we used. And we are going to end the video here. Guys, this is the finished look. What do we think? Do we think that I accomplished the goal? Is the vibe, like, achieved? Are we vibing yet? Do we feel fierce? Do we feel like, you know, jungle queens? Let me know in the comments below. I'm definitely going to take finished pictures. I will leave the link to my Facebook page, Make It For The Everyday Mama, in the comments below. Guys, make sure you click that link and go check out the finished pictures. I very, very rarely ever use any kind of filters. So 9 times out of 10, what you see is what you get. If I do use a filter, I will let you know. I do mess with the lighting, but it's just because my camera is not great, and I just kind of have to illuminate everything so you can see it. But I never use any smoothing filters or blurring filters. No Facetune. What you see is what you get. So of course, go over there and check that out. I will list everything that I talked about in today's video in the description box below, along with a way to contact me and my Instagram but my Instagram handle. I hope you liked today's look. I'm so in love with it. I'm about to go take some really, really cute pictures. Hopefully I get a good picture. Hopefully it's a good picture day. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Until then, my loves, until then, my most beautiful mamas, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye, my loves.